centered.
Yeah,
That shit is trash. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm like, I have the understanding of knowing that I can be with a bunch of different women whilst waiting on the one to find me. Okay. And I don't have a problem with that.
There's nothing wrong with appetizers before your meal.
Apparently it is. It sounds hoish.
Sounds greedy.
Is it?
If you have a whole lot of appetizer before your meal, can you?
I didn't say a whole lot.
Well, what's a lot, Wayne?
Where are the apps? I want the apps.
How many are acceptable, Wayne?
I mean, we're not. It's not like unlimited. I'm not gonna quote the place because that's free plug, but it's not unlimited apps over here. Okay, we're gonna have a app.
Just a app.
A app and then dinner.
So how many sides should you have?
I mean, it depends on how hungry you are. You know, that's what it.
If I'm looking out for a woman and she's not ready, then I'm just gonna go experience life until I find one that's ready or she's ready.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. And the point we're trying to make early on in the show that we just recorded, we spoke about the narrative of men in general. I mean, and we were speaking about men in context, but this could be for any gender. We spoke about men and the narrative of them only wanting to have sex with multiple women as a conquest. Oh, this is what men want to do. This is all they want to do. They dogs, and they just want to fuck everything that move. And our argument to that is, no, that's not true, because we are all heterosexual men who have engaged with women in certain ways, and that's just not the case. Now, there's a difference between experiencing and exploring, if we would all agree, and then going outside of that and saying, I'm just going to keep doing this because I don't know any better. One of Michael Andrews' points that he made in the show earlier is that the awareness at a certain age or a certain experience level is unacceptable to negate that, to say, oh, I just didn't know. And Tony made an excellent point by saying, no, because sometimes people just don't have enough experience to gauge or assess what they do or don't know, which are both valid points. Now, the whole time, I was sitting in this motherfucker with my feet kicked back, you feel me? Because I'm married. And that doesn't mean I'm an aficionado of none of this shit, but I just shut the fuck up because they single and they need to have that conversation. And y'all need to have a conversation about that shit.
Yeah, start the conversation on when you start asking yourself, and we speak about accountability, and really finding out what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. Because I can say, hey, I can just be biding time until, I'm ready for the one, or I'm enjoying my life this way because I don't have to have all of my, women into one woman. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but I mean, realistically, after my recent history, I'm not sure if it's possible. So I'm not going to sit up here and think about that and leave myself out.
Yeah.
When I could be enjoying, this chick, this woman, this woman.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it's one of the things that we talked about that we've continuously talked about, that we need to continue the conversation about, is just being honest. And being honest with yourself, as well as being honest with, the people that you're interacting with. I think what happens so many times, even in the situation that you're talking about, I'm just going to bide my time and have fun and be out here dating or fucking or whatever the situation may be, that's your truth, right? And that there's a way for you to do that honorably and to benefit you, but you need to understand how that affects you as well. Does it affect you, as we talked about in the show, like a over-the-counter drug or like a narcotic? And do you have an addictive personality? Because either one of those, even if it's over-the-counter, can still be problematic if you got an addictive personality. And
synthetic, because you're so eloquent.
Yeah, or synthetic. You're not utilizing the drug properly, even if it's illegal.
Yeah, you're not. If I delve into, for example, where I am currently, I think that there is a strong possibility that it's just not possible. Like it's like a magnet that you flip one around and it's always going to propel. I think there is a possibility that it's just not going to happen, because my experience is that I've been ecstatic and could and found that I could have been in a relationship with those where it hasn't worked.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, oh, I'm head over heels over this woman.
Yeah.
And she ain't feeling me.
Yeah.
And then the flip side of that, oh, this chick is feeling me, but I'm not feeling her.
Yeah.
So it seems like the situations that could have happened have always been me being head over heels for her, willing to do what it took.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm genuinely wanting to be in a relationship with this person. So my commitment isn't just to come home and not sleep around. My commitment is to make her happy. Because I'm engaged in that.
That's
it's kind of like, hey, why aren't men, that was one of the questions, why aren't men wanting to please their significant others? They can play video games all damn day long. Right? They can do this. But as soon as she asks, let's do date night, why are men like, oh man, you know what, let's just go to the movies?
Because we know it. Well, and again, the other side of that is because we know a lot of times this is not a. You don't want me.
Right.
You don't. When we go on date night, you don't want me on date night. You want, again, whatever I pictured of created in my mind. That's what we're gonna go out. So you're gonna ask me about my day. I'm gonna babble, and you're gonna listen attentively, and
We're gonna drink wine.
and we're gonna drink wine,
So-
knowing this motherfucker like bourbon.
It's a fantasy.
It's a fantasy. Because again, if you wanted to spend time with me, motherfucker, learn how to play some video games. Like I'm just saying, like, it don't gotta be all the time, but like, learn how to play some video games.
No, and it's perfect because back to me, being in a married situation where the construct of marriage is different from everybody, but learning your spouse or your mate and those little idiosyncrasies and finding out what works and what doesn't work is a part of that journey of marriage. So you have to be like, well, you know I don't like that shit, so why are we doing it? Well, I don't like it either, but why don't we just try something completely different together?
The argument is, well, you did this to get me.
Right.
And everybody understands that, and
Right.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair argument.
Or, don't you want to make me happy? Yeah, I want to make you happy, but I also want to be happy.
Right.
So don't you want me to be happy, being happy with you?
But again, I think Will Smith said it. One thing that he realized when he was with Jada, he said, "I realized I cannot make you happy. I can be a part of your happiness. You got to make your own goddamn self happy."
Yeah, but in their fantasies, that's what will make them happy. I want you to be my fantasy, and
Which
I'm
is-
like, I'm cool. But
Yeah, but
up
I'm
until-
always going to at some point in any fantasy with any drug, you got to wake up and you got to come off that fucking high. So that's my whole point: is do you want the reality of this relationship, or do you want a fantasy that's not going to last? And if you don't care about the long term effects of it, fine. Let's ride this out.
Yeah, but that's not also. I mean, if someone says, "Hey, we agreed to date night once a month
Yeah.
and whatnot," and then the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm really not into that," but you started that way.
That's fair.
You know what
Then
I mean?
you can hold me accountable to that. But that's what I'm saying is
But
if you
why
say
doesn't that guy want to do date night?
that's
My answer on the surface was, he's just not that into you. I don't care if you've been married. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you've been together. It's kind of like when things settle down. It's not that sleeping with you is a bad thing or it was just excitement. It's just that to this level,
that
I
drink war.
enjoy you sleeping with you. I enjoy you physically.
Yeah.
But personally, I really don't.
Fuck with you like that.
I'm really not. I'm not overly excited. I found that when I still wanted to do date night, I didn't even call it date night.
Right.
It was, hey, we're going out to have dinner.
Yeah.
We're going out to have drinks. We're going to hang out with my friends over here. We're going to hang out with yours because I was into you. I was overly into you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm ecstatic to do these things with you. I don't look at it as date night.
Right.
And I tried to explain that, and I was just like, I hate to break it to you, just based on my experiences.
Mhm.
Whenever I felt that way about a woman, it was about a woman. It's always been women. No R. Kelly shit. Whenever I felt that way, being with a chick that I was dating, it was because I was overly excited to be with her.
And that's
and then
fair.
when I was overly excited to be
Yeah.
with her, eventually it came out, and I don't like that shit, and she pulled away. This is what I talk about the magnets. It's kind of
Right.
like, I'm excited to be with you. I don't have a problem with, want to go day night? Because it was just about being with her.
Yeah.
And then those other times where it was like, yeah, I had a chick that wanted to be with me. I was like, yeah. I'm like those other guys. I don't play video games. So I was like, yeah, I really don't want to do this because I'm really not into you to that level of
Well,
I
again,
want to spend my time with you.
and it's also important to remember, ladies, if we being honest, that shit a date don't cost you no time and no money or no resources, like outside of some gas and some time. So when you think about it, as a dude, when you're not that into a young lady, the follow up could be, probably won't be, but it could be, hey, well shit, if you want to see me, take me out. Because if you do that, and again, then she's taking you out all the time, she want to spend money all this doing it, and then you hit back and say like, I ain't really feeling it like that.
Right.
Then women would have an inkling of understanding what it feels like, because again, I've diverted resources to you for a test, essentially.
Right.
Because you're testing me to see if like I want to deal with you long term.
That's a good point.
And so my good point, is within that same space, if we are dating, right, to what you were talking about earlier, and I'm like, yo, I know I have my point of view of the type of one that I want, I can either say, hey, until that happens, I'm just gonna be out here playing and enjoying life, or I can say, fuck that shit, I'm about to get in the gym, I'm about to get my money right, I'm about to do all these different types of things, because again, the undergirding of what we've been talking about for the last couple of months is, shit, I ain't never lost no money chasing no pussy.
I don't think that's...
I mean, I ain't never lost no pussy chasing money.
I don't think that people like to hear that, even though it seems to be true.
Well, we can settle this. People, let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you are thinking about these topics, these discussions, and these conversations, because most importantly, outside of us having our own gratification by hearing ourselves talk and engaging with each other, we want to know what the fuck y'all think.
Chime in on the allmanpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out our link tree on IG.
Facebook, Allies and Antagonists.
I'm going to get that right one.
Yeah. And if you see us in the street or out, by all means, pull us aside. Tell us our podcast is
Don't
shit.
talk to me, goddamn, no playing.
It's okay. You're probably with a client.
I'm probably with a client.
So don't disturb him if he's with the client.
You know, I'm a manager.
right.
So,
Personal.
yeah. So yeah, we're gonna start trying to have meetings. So we'll invite you guys out. Let us know we're gonna let you know where we're gonna be. So just in case you want to come out and interact with us and get a more personal feel and have these topics without it being a lag, we're gonna start doing that once we get it going and consistent. We're gonna let you know. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Please reach out to us. And let us know. This has been the All Man After Show. I am Tony Davis.
Michael Andrew the Brand.
And I'm Weezy. We out.
Yep.
Peace.